Okay, this is the critical lap. This is the critical lap. Confirm.
Leave me alone. I know what to do.
Welcome back to the critical lap. Daniel, how are you?
Great, Ruben. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, man. This is just savoring the last moments of pre-summer break Formula One fandom. Enjoying the excitement at the Hungary games. Hungaroring.
Hungary games.
Hungaroring. I do love how they just get to make up words when they want to combine things. In Europe, here we just like put 9 words together and call it like the Tostitos Bowl, special Hungaroring of Texas.
Yeah, with the combination of Hungaro, like when you go row ring, like
Yeah.
Hungaroring, like us Americans were like, row what?
It's the Hunger Games.
That doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know that many words. Yeah, well,
I
hey,
mean,
that's
Hungary,
what-
former Soviet bloc, right? So Hunger Games,
yeah,
probably
takes.
maybe insensitive at this point. I don't know.
right off the bat. Total side note, I did
Jumping
pull
right into the
old-
geopolitics.
an old like big atlas book out the other day for my reserve drivers. And was like, yeah, this is called an atlas. It's got maps in here. They're like, what's the USSR? I was like, okay.
What's this huge country right here that's taking up half the planet?
Why? What's East Germany? What's West Germany? Okay, let's move on to Google Maps where information might be up to date. Hey, speaking of up to date, you joined the Critical Lap F1 podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We are your critical stop. This is your critical lap of all F1 news and details. Thank you for joining us. If you're new, welcome. If you are a returning listener or viewer, welcome back. We're excited to talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with a friend. Add a comment about whether you think this week's tire selection was better than Spa. I don't know, something. Throw a comment in there. Welcome back either way. Daniel, what'd you think? Let's jump right into the race. What'd you think of the Hungaroring?
Well, first of all, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Lando. Way to go, Lando.
Lando Norris, first place.
First place. I don't want to say redemption necessarily because he sort of squeaked it out, but
Yep.
he gave the victory to Oscar last year at the same ring.
Yeah, that's
at
right.
the same Hungaroring. And this year he got to take victory home all the way. So good for Lando. That was probably my favorite part of this whole thing was the Lando Norris aspect.
This was the Lando, your mom and I want you to do the right thing ring last year. Is that right? The most awkward person, like, remember what we talked about before
Remember we
the
talked
race.
about Lando.
Remember
we talked about
this is not who you are. This is not how we race.
Lando, you can either give the position back or I can help you. But if I have to help you, you're going to be in big trouble.
Don't you take another lap? Oh, you won't take another lap. If you do you do one more lap, mister, you're going to be in real trouble.
If you lead past turn 14.
Yeah. It was that race. That awkward race last year. You know what I thought was funny was if you're out there on the interwebs, like most of us, keeping up with all the F1 news, you immediately see all the reactions. There's somebody in the world who's frustrated with something that happens at every race, right? And immediately it's, oh, this is a conspiracy to help Norris win and to give him a strategy where he beats Piastri. I'm like, yeah, that argument was easy to make last year, where they literally had a pit strategy that helped Lando Norris out and then told him to give the spot up. If you were ever going to have a conspiracy that Norris was supposed to win, it was last year.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't make that argument this year. This was a clean win.
Honestly, it kind of reminded me that the Hungary or the Budapest, whatever, Hungaroring GP.
Yep.
Is actually, so it's, I'm like, I kind of discount it. And I do this with some of the different circuits, but this one in particular, and I should also disclaim, I've been there in person. I was there in 2019 when Max got his first pole position, and basically the race was stolen by a very fast Hamilton and a very fast Mercedes running a completely different strategy. I think Hamilton did 3 stops to Max's 2.
Okay.
Nonetheless, this like tiny little ring, I would call it tiny. It's not that small, but like this little ring, this little circuit with all these turns, all these low speed turns and these whatever, it makes for really good racing because it forces the strategy to actually happen. It's like the strategy circuit to me. It's
Right.
like it's one little straight. There's two DRS zones, if I'm not mistaken.
One. Oh no, you're right. There's two.
I think there's like a
two.
short
There's like
there's
a
like a
little
short
one.
extra one. Yeah.
One
I don't
and a
really know
half.
I don't know what that does for anybody.
Right.
But yeah, like it really, like, you can't really overtake.
Right.
So it's all about the strategy. It's like the one race of the year where, and so it was kind of cool to see it come around for Lando with just sheer strategy, because he went from third to sixth on the start, or
Yeah, he
fifth.
fell to fifth at least. Russell Leclerc, Piastri,
At one point, Alonso was
yeah,
ahead of
and
him.
Alonso. Yeah, he went all the way down to fifth. Yeah,
So it just that's what happens. That's what happens with when you run good strategy, or when you get creative with strategy.
yeah. It is. I saw a lot of jokes beforehand that Hungary is the Monaco without walls, or some joke to that effect. There's not really that many opportunities to pass. I don't think that's fair to Hungary, to be honest. They don't have to do mandated tire strategies to make this one fun, right? Like there were some pit stops that made it fun. To be honest, I felt like there was a fair amount of action. I think it's really easy after you have something like the Spanish Grand Prix with Max crashing into someone or some crazy excitement to say, "Oh, it was kind of a slow race." This was not a slow race. This was a
No,
fun
this
race,
was
kind of
not.
from beginning to end.
Yeah.
It was a good race. I thought it was good. I can't fault it off the bat. So yeah, just a quick rundown for those of you who haven't seen it. Spoiler: alert, you've already had one spoiler. Lando Norris pulls out the win with a unusual strategy, going to on a one stop strategy, running along on a hard tire with Oscar Piastri hunting him down to the point that he finished less than 7/10 of a second behind him, or right about 7/10 of a second. Oscar Piastri in second, and then George Russell, our favorite third wheel on the podium, takes a third place finish. George, I hope George, if you're listening, which of course you are, I hope we love you,
Of
George.
course. Of
This is
course, George.
it's all good fun. And Charles Leclerc with fourth place finish that I think that felt very bad to him. He was a good 20 seconds behind George Russell, who admittedly was about 20 seconds behind the McLarens, and Fernando Alonso in the top five with a fifth place finish. I think the only consistent thing about this entire race was Fernando Alonso was in fifth. Like no matter what time
Yeah.
you looked at the clock,
Yeah.
he was in fifth.
Yeah. He might have been, 45 seconds behind the top four, but,
Right.
he was fifth.
But he was always in fifth, except for that brief moment where he overtook Lando Norris on the first lap
Right.
on the start, and then got back into fifth. And then I honestly can't remember a moment where Alonso was in fifth from that point on. I'm sure during some pit stops there were some mix-ups, but I don't remember that. So. Rounding out the top 10, Gabriel Bortoleto in sixth place with a Sauber. Lance Stroll, seventh. Liam Lawson, Max Verstappen, and Kimi Antonelli in eighth, ninth, and 10th. So kind of an odd mixed bag this week in terms of, I think, a lot of people very frustrated with those results, and others kind of happy. I was surprised George Russell wasn't a little bit more elated with that finish. I think he felt like it was, I don't know, maybe they're struggling enough with Mercedes that he still felt like it wasn't that big of a win. Anyway, we need to talk about
I
that.
feel like if you're Russell and Antonelli today, you're just waiting on 2026.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to get first in the constructors. They're not going to get second, I would say.
They can keep fighting. I mean, I don't know. Did you see Hamilton?
Yeah, that was also disappointing.
I
for
mean,
Hamilton.
if you're Mercedes, you can't take your foot off the gas right now because Ferrari should be strong, but on any given day they're not.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
it's
anyway.
we've talked about these teams coasting to the end. Teams that are not coasting to the end, Sauber. Maybe we
Mhm.
should just say it again. Sauber not coasting to the end. They are.
Racing Bulls. I mean, Hadjar's not doing much, but Lawson seems to be kind of picking up that slack.
Yeah, I mean, Hadjar was 11th. You could argue that some of the shenanigans with Max Verstappen and Hamilton. I was kind of surprised Max Verstappen didn't pick up a penalty for pushing Hamilton off track, but maybe.
That was under investigation for all, and then they said they were just going to decide after the race for some reason. Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
Well, yeah, they decided they were going to decide after race, but did you see that Hamilton didn't even go to the steward's room?
No, I didn't see that.
Dude, we're all over the place already.
Hamilton's just like,
Let's come
I
back
don't
to
even.
that one. Let's come
Okay,
back
all
to
right,
that
all
one.
right.
Let's come back.
He's just over it. All right.
He's just Hamilton was like, it's just like he already left, man. His bag's gone. He's in the car. Like, wow, okay. So yeah, I think we'll touch on that when we get to sad. Hamilton is sad, but Hamilton finished 12th. He's way down at 12th. Just a bad weekend all around. I'm guessing if you paid attention to F1 at all, you saw a lot of the news around that. But this week it felt like Norris kind of did the same thing he did last week in Spa. Went with a gutsy one-stop strategy with this hard tire. At least went with a hard tire option, similar to Spa, and this time it paid off. Managed to hold off Piastri. Made for a really fun ending. I think the last 15 laps, 20 laps were really just Piastri chewing into that lead, getting closer and closer. And I think realistically, Piastri had him on another lap or two. That would have been it.
Yeah, but I would say Piastri didn't quite have him on merit. I think Lando could not keep the pace up because of the traffic that he was in. And then basically before he could actually get through the traffic, he was slowed down enough. Piastri got up right behind him, and then as they were getting cleared through that traffic, they both cleared at the same time.
Right.
So there was a little bit of an advantage Piastri there from the traffic, which again, that's Hungary. So I was actually worried for him for a minute, but yeah, that was an exciting. I think it was was it 19 laps? When did Piastri pit and start hunting him
I
down?
honestly can't remember. I think it was right around 51. So it was about a 20 lap, 15 to 20 laps of really eating. It was 20 exactly because I literally just did the math. I took like whatever it was, 8-second gap divided by 20 to see like how much did he need to chew into his lead. Yeah, it was a long run for him. You're right though. The traffic thing, sometimes they complain about the traffic, not a lot. This time he complained about it, and then they did a good job with the camera angles showing at one point how they were coming up, and you really want to be behind them. Like when you come up on back markers, you want to be behind them on the DRS detection zone. Turn that corner, get DRS, they get the blue flags. You blow past them with DRS wide open.
Yeah,
and then the Piastri chasing you behind you doesn't get that big benefit. And they showed it right at the right time. They backed out that angle, and I forget who he was passing, but whoever it was kind of just slammed the brakes on and let him go by, and he missed that DRS detection. And I thought, man, that he's not joking. This is a serious disadvantage if you're in first place and you don't get that timing.
Yeah, and I would say it's a double-edged sword. If you remember the radio call from Norris, he was like, "Hey, can we be proactive about the blue flags? I don't want to be sitting behind these guys. Like, can we please think ahead?"
Right. Yeah.
And then like as Piastri was like right behind him, and I think right around the time that you're talking about, he was like, "Hey, this traffic's going to ruin my race." Basically, he called it out on the radio. Which there's not much that McLaren can do about the traffic. They can just be like, "Please excuse us."
I was gonna say, I feel like that's the kind of thing when you're like stuck on an airplane taxiing and they like make that call. They're like, "Folks, we're gonna be here for a little while on the runway." Like, and then the flight attendant comes by. It's like telling them like, "So what's going on with the weather in Houston?" Like, there's no point in asking the flight attendant that, like, "Hey guys, can we get proactive with those blue flags?"
Do you think that the plane at my next gate could wait on me? Do you think you could make some sort of
right?
I don't know. Call.
You have a direct.
Is there a radio on this thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you get the stewardesses on that flight called up on the radio and let them know about me, please?
Like, help them out. My name's
Yeah. I mean, speaking
what
of
are they going to do?
like,
Send an engineer down the pit lane, like jog down there to the blue flag guys,
right?
And start waving those flags a little faster.
I feel like the stewards aren't just waiting on a team to be like, "Hey, we got to get through."
Can we turn those blue flags up a little bit?
Yeah, but every little bit counts, and I guess there's probably some. Like in the event of a penalty, like the garage is sort of divided in this case, right? It's still Team Lando versus Team Oscar,
right?
Even though they're all McLaren. So like at some point there can be a penalty one versus the other if anything were to happen. And if you're in that meeting with the stewards, which Hamilton, this doesn't apply to you apparently, but if you're in that meeting with the stewards and you're like, "We told you to get the blue flags, and if you had done that, this wouldn't have happened, and it's your fault," and sorry, I accidentally hit my mic. And we shouldn't get a penalty here.
Daniel got excited there and just bleeped himself out.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess there's
nice
something
having
to
that
it.
in your favor or some context. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And I guess there's an element to you can still call race control and complain, and in theory they might make some phone calls and say, hey, let's be pretty proactive on these, or make sure you're on the, hey, Williams or whoever, like, please note, note to your drivers they need to get out of the way from blue flags. I guess that would probably help. It was good to see, I will say, after Spa last week, where we talked about this a little bit, that Norris had a pretty gutsy tire strategy decision. It almost paid off for him. It was his best shot last week at having a surprise win. And then this week, it was kind of nice seeing that pay off. He went with that one stop. We talked about last week how he went for the hard tire. I thought, oh, that's going to change it up. Everybody's going to decide right now whether they want to like go quick and then
Yeah.
get a soft tire and try to do that 2-stop quick. And instead, it just killed the momentum. This week, it seemed like it really accelerated the whole thing. His decision to go on a one-stop strategy pushed a lot of other teams to make decisions.
Yeah, last week it sort of froze everything, right? Everything
Yeah.
was just like, okay, this till the end. This week it was like, I feel like the Oscar pitted ahead of him, and then it was like, okay, I got you, because now I can choose the one stop, and you've already done it, right?
Right.
You've already sort of tipped the first domino.
Right. Yeah, it was an interesting strategy, and what I just thought was interesting in general was that these types of races where there's drivers that seem really, really comfortable in the lead, or maybe somewhere else in the field, but they're very comfortable in their competitive space that they're going to be winning, and somebody else is forced to an alternative strategy, like Norris. In that circumstance, like, well, there's no chance of me getting back up into that space unless I do something odd. Their decision to go to a hard tire then pushes the entire leader group out of their comfort zone. It's just an interesting dynamic that really it kind of feels like it's a balanced equation where if you can't just sort of be out in the lead and control everything. If you force your teammate to make a tough decision like that, well, then now they get an advantage in a certain kind of way, which is makes it fun. And it kind of feels like that's a little bit about what's happening with the season a little bit. You got these obvious winners, but people
Yeah,
miss still
well,
making it fun.
I just think about the alternative here where Piastri wins 2 in a row. The gap starts getting bigger and bigger between the two of them, and then we just don't have quite as exciting of a championship
Yeah,
race to the end of the season. You know, now I think the spread is 9 points between them
9
in
points.
the standings.
Yeah,
I
that's
should
it.
probably verify that,
I checked it
but
earlier.
yeah, so 9 points between them, and otherwise it would have been 14 maybe. 9 points is still very interesting. 14 is like, first and second place are 5 points apart. No, sorry, 7
Right,
points apart.
right,
So now you're talking about 2 races that you have to kind of get back to your advantage to even break even if
right.
you're Lando and compete. And there's a lot of season to go. So I'm glad to see it continue to be so tight.
Agreed. And it feels like the trend lines are all getting a little bit more consistent. I say that there's a big asterisk on that if your name is Aston Martin or Sauber or any of these midfield teams that keep deciding who's going to have their turn in the sun this
Right.
week. But
Right.
if you're at the top, it feels like those trend lines are getting really consistent. It's pretty sure that the McLarens, both of them, will be on the podium. These days, it's pretty sure they're going to be on the top 2 seats. And so if you're Lando or Oscar, you start kind of doing that math and saying, at best, I can get a +6 every week, right? I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get
Yeah.
6 points up on my nearest teammate, which means a 9-point gap is a 2-week effort. It's a 2-race effort to close that gap, right? And then the season doesn't seem that much longer, right? Then it seems like, well, okay, 11 races or something like that, 11, 10, 11 races. So I have to account for the fact that if we go 50-50, I lose. I have to get 2 more races. 14 points is massive in that case. That's a 3-race deficit. So yeah, it's good to see see those two be continue to kind of battle it out close, because
So
otherwise,
yeah, and so while we're on the topic, maybe I should just throw this quick reaction at you.
yeah.
Is Oscar Piastri capable of a DNF?
Is he capable of a DNF?
Or is he just good enough that he, I mean, and DNF not because of the car, but because of his own fault. Something like Lando Norris, Canada.
Yeah, I think so. That's the second time. When was it he locked up like that going into a turn? He desperately trying to catch up. It wasn't Silverstone. It was before that. What was the race before Silverstone? I'm not good at keeping up with the schedule, y'all.
I can't think of it in reverse.
He had a direct lockup like that where it was the exact same thing, and the team called him out on it and kind of said, "Hey, like that, that can't happen again. That's kind of across the line, or that's over the line a little bit." Um, it was Piastri, right, that locked up like that coming into a turn and almost torpedoed Norris.
Well, the reason I say that is because he's coming up. I think he's third. He's on the third longest finish streak of any driver. Lewis Hamilton
Okay.
and Max Verstappen are ahead of him by some margin, but like
All right.
Oscar is doing pretty good at finishing races. Lockup notwithstanding. I mean, Australia. You remember season opener? He had a little excursion off the track. Not really characteristic of Oscar Piastri.
Was almost beached and managed to reverse his way back out of it, if I remember right. Yep.
Right.
Turned his rear-wheel drive car into a front-wheel drive car.
So yeah, my thing is, as I'm thinking about this, and the reason I bring up the quick reaction for you, if Oscar were to have a DNF at some point and sort of neutralize the DNF that Lando had in Canada, then I think it's advantage Lando for the rest of the season because they've each won 6 and 5 at this point. I think
it's possible. I mean, given that he tried that move on turn 1 this time around, locked up the tires and almost ran into the back of Norris. So I think it is possible. We've talked about his frustration. I mean, it's quiet, it's slow simmering, but as it starts to boil over, I don't think we're ever going to see him like flip out and kick a tire like Verstappen, but they're very similar in the sense that like this stuff eats at them. So he's I could see that. I could see them pushing harder and harder and eventually just sliding into the back of Norris, ripping that front wing off. Or I don't think he's the type that's going to just have a huge spin and go into a wall. I'm trying to go too fast around the curves. But
no, I agree with that. I'm thinking more contact, or I'm thinking more push a margin too much and like, Singapore or Las Vegas or something where you hit the wall a little too hard or you graze the wall a little too aggressively and it does some damage.
Yeah. Do I think it's possible for him to finish the season without a DNF? Yeah, I think he probably will. I think he'll be fine. I do think he's getting frustrated enough. Like, let's say Lando wins the next one and it's a 3-point gap, or Piastri gets third, and Lando takes the lead. Then, yeah, I could see him starting to scrabble back a little bit, get a little bit more. But I could also see him just wiping his teammate off the map and both of them getting a DNF. And then there being some really awkward questions about, hey, Oscar, like, you got to calm down a little bit. You're running into your teammate. You're knocking both of us out of the race. It's not a good look. But doesn't seem that likely. I did see him in the cool down room again. This time remember we talked a little bit last week about him having a little bit of a tough cool down room, or at least he seems like he is the least. He's the
least
worst,
chill loser. he's the worst second placer.
Yeah, I just literally grabbed this clip today of him in the cool down room. You can see him going through his affirmations of like calm, right? Just like bring the temperature down, focus. Like when Lando walks in, you know what I mean? Like when Lando watch him put the bottle down, just it's got a Mark Webber feel to it, you know. It's you can tell like he's really having to work hard to remember like happy for my teammate, positivity.
We win as one, we lose as one.
Bless his heart, he's trying so hard.
His time will come. It might be this year. It might be next year.
I honestly think if I had to put a bet down right now, I'd bet on Piastri for the championship. Because you asked that DNF question, I think it's more likely that Lando pulls a DNF because he's going a little too hot, a little too fast, or because he drops to 5th on the start, and then he's got to fight his way through some contenders you don't want to have to fight with. So,
well, if you reverse analyze or whatever post-mortem that start, Lando almost had it on Piastri, and then because he was on the inside into turn 1, he just had no choice. But so it was basically like
he almost had him on turn 1, almost got that passed on. Yeah. Not so much though. Daniel, I want to talk about a plot line that I think you feel as well. A big takeaway is just in general. I had this dawning realization to me, and I know this is like such a backstabby thing to do, given that I'm wearing a Williams hat right now. I feel like they need some love, but I I think Sauber might be becoming my favorite storyline of the season.
Oh,
It it's so easy to support an underdog, right? Like we've covered that before. I think it's really easy to support an underdog. People ask me all the
oh,
time.
it's there's like I mean I think it's just like the delta between like the lows and the highs of underdog support. Because
Yeah,
when the underdog does something good, it is amazing. It's just no, the odds are so far against you and all this stuff, right?
right, right.
So agree, I'm with you. I like a good underdog ride.
And when they fail, you're just kind of like, it's okay, buddy. Like you're doing good. Way to stick with them. So
Yeah,
maybe that's the. I mean, maybe it's unfair to like jump on the Sauber train, and maybe it was just obvious that that was coming. But I'll be honest, going into the season, I thought like, hey, let's get to next season where you actually prove whether you belong in F1. And now, halfway through the season, I'm like, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto. Like, it's great seeing this team have their turn coming up fast, catching up on Williams pretty quickly. Technically, they were caught by Aston Martin today, which I guess we could have that conversation as well. But yeah, Sauber. How do you feel about Sauber right now?
I mean they had some really good teamwork today. I think Stroll was just about to get ahead of Bortoleto on the uh, tire changing strategy, and Hulkenberg did just enough to keep him and kind of hold him back, so the Bortoleto made it into the right gap and got ahead of him on the exit. Love to see that from a guy like Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg could just be like, "Hey, I've been around the longest. I deserve it more. Like, give me the preference, or I need the team strategy or whatever." And instead, he's still being a team player.
Yeah,
I still have really high hopes for Audi. I mean, I don't think Audi is gonna not try or not perform or not put their best foot forward in
right.
this, especially in this series. Audi, as I've said, ain't no slouch, and they have they have won a lot in the past in the series that they participated in.
Yeah,
So I think that this is just kind of they've got the right people in place, and what are you going to do with the right people in place but perform somewhat, even with a car?
right.
The other thing I like about Sauber is Matteo Binotto. I think he's good. I just think he's good at what he does.
Mm.
He's a serious dude. Probably got the best hair of all the other team principals or whatever you call them, technical
He
directors,
does
whatever
not.
he is.
Mecky's stepped up though. He brought the hair game. But go ahead.
I don't know about Mackey's hair, honestly. There's a lot of happening, but to me, Matteo Binotto is with the curls and the I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
he's
I know
he's
what you're
just
talking about.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Get that.
But
I
yeah, I
know.
mean, it just seems like okay, it's all happening and it's almost like the momentum is starting now to build for a good 2026, which is where I
Mm.
expected Sauber to start showing up, aka Audi, soon to be Audi.
Well, it's just nice to see them competitive. I think when the season started off, they were dragging the bottom of the barrel again, and I thought, here we go again. I think 4 points last year total, and those came in the last two races, I think, or
Right.
maybe they got 1 point and then they got two or three at the last race.
Hmm.
Um, this year, the lowest scoring team is Alpine with 20 points, and they've had 20 points for what feels like forever. They've had 20 points for 5, 6, 7 races
Yeah,
now, or
because
something
they
like
had a
that.
decent start. They had like a hey, Alpine's. Oh, look what Alpine's doing kind of start.
Right. And then, I mean, that was long ago. I don't even remember it. So 20 points for the lowest team, and then a good battle going on right now for 5, 6, 7, 8, all kind of in that range, battling it out. Williams having a couple bad, a few, I guess we're coming up on 4 bad weeks, 5 ish. Not a lot of great things going on there.
I don't know. I think Williams did okay at Spa for Albon, right?
Yeah.
Science,
Yeah. Album
whatever.
had a
But
good
I
week.
think Spa sort of favors the car and the way they have it designed. A lot
That's
of high
true. Yeah,
speed.
that's true.
So
Spa was good
so
for them. Yeah.
so. But Signs out qualified Albon this time around, and in Q1, Signs was I think seventh fastest. In weird track evolution, I would say it wasn't the
Sure.
best like apples to apples comparison across the whole grid. But even then, I was like, okay, signs, let's do it. Maybe you're getting the car under you. Maybe this track is good for you specifically. Um, so I was actually very hopeful for Williams this week, and lo and behold, 14th,
Right.
15th on the grid on
Right.
the finish. So
Did you see Science's kind of desperate moment in traffic on Q2 when he was trying to get into the pit lane? It was like a huge line of traffic.
No, I didn't see that.
Hang on a second. Let me look at this. His
Oop.
engineer is trying to push him back, and he's like, no. He just keeps pushing in, and they won't let him in. He just keeps pushing in. It was
Oh
right at the end of
man.
Q2, and you remember that was the one where Charles Leclerc pulled in after Q1 and was like, I want to go early. I want to go
Yeah.
out in Q2 as early as quick
Yeah.
like possible. And they fueled him up, put him back out there. And then Carlos Sainz had exactly the same thing, but he actually did get stuck. And it's just, you can actually see that, like he eased out there, and then his mechanic was trying to stop him and push him back.
It's a good thing that mechanic had knee pads on, because he might have pushing the car going the wrong way.
He was about to just get run over. Yeah. It was just kind of an awkward moment. I mean, and you could kind of feel that same desperation with Sainz. Maybe he asked for the same thing and they just didn't let him out. But he just doesn't seem to be able to get a grip on that. He feels like another one of those drivers who is kind of happy to see the summer break coming up.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Honestly, all I can do for Sainz is hope that next year is better with a different car or more time for him to just get those reps in.
Yeah.
I had a lot of hopes for Sainz coming into Williams, just because Williams had good momentum at the end of last season, and I thought great driver coming in, good momentum combination there would be great for any Williams fans out there, me included.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's doing it right. Hopefully he's doing it where he's like putting in the work, and it's not so much about the performance short term, but it's about kind of learning it and getting his feet under him for longer term and new regs and new car coming up next year.
I mean, I hope so. And there's nothing to say this season won't turn around. I always think of the Drive to Survive graphic whenever they're like doing an episode where it's one of the teams fighting back or two teams fighting, and they'll do that little graphic of the team ranking. And, it'll say like, and they'll like slide up and like the names go up and down. The names are going up and down a lot. Williams has held that 5th place spot at one point, snapping at the heels of Team Verstappen. And then Aston Martin just jumped up into 6th, chasing them down, but they just passed Sauber. Sauber was in 6th for a while. Racing Bulls is an 8th place right now. But if you look at those scores right now, Williams is 70 points. Aston Martin, Kick Sauber, Racing Bulls are 52, 51, 45.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of right in that range where all you need is Albon to get another 5th place finish or 6th place finish, or Bortoleto to get a 5th place or 6th place finish, and you end up really leapfrogging one of those teams. I don't think Williams has to panic yet. They need to start. They need to start getting a few 7th, 8th, 9th places here pretty consistently, though, if they want to hold that 5th place against Aston Martin or Kick Sauber. Because if Aston Martin this weekend looked really good,
right? I would love to see Aston Martin have a strong finish to the year too, just because I would like to see all of that input and funding and development be rewarded. I think that they have the most chance at doing something remarkable or noteworthy, as opposed to just, well, it's Mercedes again, or well, it's Red Bull again, or whatever.
right?
We've seen that with McLaren. McLaren, let's just say over the last, I don't know, 8 years has gone from really, really poor to really, constructors last year, right? So
Yeah.
I like seeing that trajectory, and I think Aston is the one poised to do it next. I'm not that. Am I happy if Mercedes performs well and dominates? Sure, that's hey, it's somebody other than Red Bull, somebody other than McLaren at this point. But that's
Right.
not that interesting to me. What's interesting would be, or what would be interesting, is an Aston Martin. So
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be nice to see them come up. It'd be nice to see Fernando Alonso succeeding on a team. I thought today I made a joke to somebody. They said, "Who's your favorite driver?" And I said, "Lance Stroll," because that seems like a nice punchline these days. But the reality is, sometimes I do feel bad for that guy. He could be a good driver. We'll never know, because if his dad gives him a seat, then it's always difficult to tell whether you would have had to fight your way there. He's a good driver this year. He's got 26 points, and Fernando Alonso's got 26 points. So right now, that's a really even team. And today, it was a really even team.
right.
Both of them scoring in the points. I think only 2 spots away from each other, 5th and 7th. You do that a few times in a row, and Aston Martin starts looking like a pretty high contender right there with Mercedes and Ferrari,
Right.
in terms of consistency. But kind of an odd day, right? It's an odd day when you have Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, Bortoleto, a fair number of drivers that you wouldn't expect to see finishing higher than Max Verstappen. Liam Lawson passing Max Verstappen. Uh, Max Verstappen in ninth place. He had a note this week that he officially is staying with Red Bull. That he,
Yeah.
of course, the
He
immediate
fi-
jokes were that
he
he can't leave.
finished. Yeah, well, the relief valve goes away because he finished that portion of the season top 3 in the drivers. So, conspiracy theories notwithstanding, I mean that is if Max wanted to keep that ability to jump open, he would have performed a little bit less well.
Do you know that really makes me like Max Verstappen a little bit? I mean, it's so easy to like. To me, it's easy to like Max Verstappen because he just kind of does what you expect him to do. You might not love it all the time. It might be too competitive, but did Max Verstappen want to leave Red Bull? Did he not want to leave Red Bull? It doesn't make any difference. He was going to get every spot he could possibly get, regardless of
Yeah,
what it did put his
yeah.
contract out.
So even if he does leave Red Bull at this point, it's just going to cost him more. But I think to him it doesn't matter. It's not about the money. It's about racing. It's
It's about
about
racing.
the sport. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just interesting to have a driver like him of his caliber say this week, I think, or in the last week or two, basically saying, was it old Helmut Marko had Dr. Helmut Marko had a comment
Excuse
about
us.
Verstappen still being in that. Yeah, excuse me, Dr. Marko. Verstappen still being in the hunt for the championship, and then Verstappen basically had a pretty cold like he's not in the car. Like he doesn't know what he's talking about. So he simultaneously says, "You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not in the running for the championship, and I'm staying with Red Bull and going to keep him performing." I think you're right. That guy just wants to drive. He wants to drive well. He kind of wants to maybe drive different things, but he's not going to let up. He could have let up a little bit, a few more spots, not running into George
Yeah.
Russell.
Yeah.
Just kind of ease back on that. And George Russell would have already taken over third spot in the driver's
He wouldn't have
championship.
had to do any work at all to let George Russell pip him in the drivers.
Good use of Pip. Look at you with that international.
And it would so and it would have been the strategy that you've described so much
Yep.
when you're giving the position back, right? You
Right.
do it in a way that you don't lose too much ground. You don't give yourself or give the competitor so much advantage. I mean, I think that mathematically he could have been like, okay, 2 races, maybe 1 position down on the grid. Russell, you know, advances or leaps me a little bit here, gets
Mhm.
third. I get this relief valve or cement it in or whatever the word would be here.
Yep.
And then I just go back to racing. But instead, he stayed true to it, right? He performed. He did everything he could.
Which is impressive. I think it might be frustrating for Red Bull to some extent because then that starts to imply to everyone else out there, again, like it, love it, hate it, Verstappen's attitude or whatever you want to say about that. He's a hardcore competitor. He's going to charge forward. So he either doesn't want to leave Red Bull and he's just carrying on as hard as he wants. He does want to leave Red Bull and he still won't stop,
Hmm.
competing. But then he still says really clearly, this car is terrible, right? There's all kinds of problems. I have no grip. I have no there's all these problems with the car, and he's just calling that out. And to your point, it'd be really easy just to drop back a few spots in a race or two and say, this car was terrible. I'm doing the best I can. Instead, that might be frustrating for Red Bull to have everyone basically realize, I think Verstappen's right. He's being incredibly clear about like, I'm happy to stay here. I'm still a competitor, and this car is actually garbage, and I'm still going to squeeze seventh place out of it at the risk of you not believing me. Which
Mm.
is just that's nice to have that consistency when you're watching some competitors. Uh, well, that's a little bit of sad day for him. He had a tough day. Maybe we should just do a quick roundup. Daniel, here's a quick reaction for you. We'll frame it like this: based on today, or maybe based on the last few races, but based on today, the race in Hungary. Which driver is more excited to get to a summer break? Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, or Max Verstappen? Or we'll throw Leclerc in there. But I think we're going to keep between Hamilton, Sainz, or Verstappen.
So I think Leclerc's going home angry, right?
Yeah.
I don't, and that's the worst. That's the worst thing to feel is like very frustrated, very angry about something, and then just well, you can't do anything about it for X amount of time, and it's a lot longer
Right.
than normal. If I'm Leclerc and I'm going home angry and I've got another race and I'm getting back in the car in 4 days to practice or whatever it might be, then I'm a little bit happier about that. So I don't think it's Leclerc. I don't think he's happy to be going into this break.
He's mad, but he wants another shot at it.
He wants
Okay?
another
So
shot. I
Leclerc's
mean,
out. It's down to
he's like,
Hamilton,
hey, I
Sainz,
finally put
or
out the
Verstappen.
performance to
Yeah.
get pole. I don't really get
Yep.
the chance to execute on that because I think it ended up being like a chassis problem or I mean, at the end of the race, I was
I
like,
can't
man, Ferrari's strategy is just abysmal.
hang on. I
But
can't remember. Hang on. Hold on. What was it that he said?
This is so incredibly frustrating. We've lost all
Hold on.
competitiveness. You just have to listen to me. I would have found
Hang
a
on, he's
different
gonna say it in a
way of
second.
managing those issues.
Are you writing this down, Daniel?
yeah. I'm totally taking
It's
notes.
a miracle if we finish on the podium.
Sorry. Okay. That's the longest message ever. Okay, so he's frustrated. He gave us a novel there. I'm assuming he wrote even more back to his engineers when he got back.
Yeah, I mean, he's using big words for radio. I mean, lost all competitiveness.
Yeah.
I would be keeping it short and sweet, a la Kimi Räikkönen. You know, just this car is bad.
This car is bad.
I'm good, but this car is bad and I can't drive it.
Right.
Um,
we play it again for details, but we try to keep these episodes under an hour. So for the listeners out there.
yeah, but I mean, just to give you the sense of frustration, he's articulating some strong feelings there.
Yeah. So he's not happy about the break because he feels like he was real close. So Hamilton, Sainz, or Verstappen, who's happier to get to this break?
So Science, I think he's probably happy to go into the break, but he's also probably still like, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I do just a little bit better? I wasn't expecting to be at the level that I was in a Ferrari, but what's going on?
Why is my
So
engineer pushing me backwards?
yeah. Why is everything I try, like nothing goes my way? He's probably happy. I think he's less happy than someone like Max, who is working pretty hard, probably working a lot harder than he had to previously to get the points that he's gotten.
Right.
Plus, Max has a newborn at home. Max has a kid to go back to and hang out with and do all the dad stuff with, which I assume
we've forgotten that Max Verstappen is in like that first 100 days of parenthood. He's just tired all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I have a feeling Max has a few things figured out that most of us regular folk don't, which, you know, with the childcare situation.
You
but
don't
I mean,
think he's getting up at 3 a.m. to feed the baby?
I don't think he's changing diapers or warming up bottles or anything. No.
Man, I do, but that's a totally separate no. I think Verstappen's the type who's like, yeah, I change the diapers and I'm really good at it.
I think that if he's in the situation, I think that on summer break, he's going to be doing that. I don't think that while he's got the job to do that he does, he's worried about a diaper.
Okay, not on Sundays.
Yeah. Right. Not on race weekend. If it's anything other than race weekend. So I think he's probably about to go lean into dad or fatherhood, whatever you call it.
Okay.
Do some diaper changing, do some, you know, introduce his baby to his yacht, and they're gonna float around the Mediterranean and do all the summer break. Yeah, you know, like this is
baby.
This is the helm. This is the owner's cabin.
We're gonna go.
This is where you sleep.
Yeah. Aft. Well, you know, you can tell. The listeners can tell we know yacht.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. This is the bridge. This is the
steering wheel.
This is the gunnel.
That's right.
This is
the pedal to go. Yeah.
Anyway, so I think.
So you think it's Hamilton?
I would say that my top two happiest to go into the summer break are Hamilton and Verstappen. Hamilton because he's the one. Like I think that he's probably more disappointed than Sainz, and I think he's probably looking forward to this, whatever's going on August 8th, which is what, Friday coming up.
Friday. We still don't know what's happening on August 8th.
Yeah, no updates. Thanks, Lewis.
Anything.
Thanks for, you know, making it. Anyway, so I think he's got that to look forward to. He can probably assume that there's right there it is again.
Just gonna run it as you're talking.
He can probably assume that Ferrari is going back to the drawing board, just going, either our strategy needs to improve or this car needs to improve or something, and like giving him 4 weeks or I guess 3 weekends off probably improve his chances the most of doing something a little bit better. Now, granted, we can't say that Hamilton has had a terrible season. I mean, Ferrari is
he just hasn't. He's right now in 6th place. I
Sure, but
mean,
he hasn't had a Hamilton season, okay? But
uh, okay.
Ferrari is firmly in second place with 260 points. That
But
is not, I mean, as opposed to Team Verstappen 194, right? Like if you think
that's
about
fair.
a
That's
single
fair.
driver
Yes.
carrying the team, Hamilton has contributed. Hamilton has performed enough for Ferrari to be in the position they're in. It hasn't been all Leclerc all the time.
Yes, that's true. I think what was interesting to me is that he does seem today he just seemed like a broken man. And I was going back through some of his points tallies and where he finished and so forth. Right now he's in sixth place with 109 points. So he is well ahead of the next nearest driver, which is Kimi Antonelli at 64 points, but he's lagging his teammate by quite a lot. Charles Leclerc has
Yeah.
151 points. And so you look at that and you say, okay, well, where was he in 2024? He finished 2024 in seventh place, but he finished with 223 points, which is more than double what he has now. So he's on pace to be a little bit behind where he was last year. And I guess my point in saying that is like, I get it. It's not a great year. You're not where you want to be. It's not 2023 or 22, or let alone, going back further than that. But you're not having a terrible season. Why is he so dejected? Like, I mean, he had a couple of interviews this weekend post qualifying where he literally made a joke about like, it's terrible. It's always bad. They were like, is there anything you can fix? And he was like, or change. And he was like, yeah, the driver. Like, when was the last time you heard a driver say, maybe you need to change the driver? Like me, take me out of the car.
That's wild. I mean, that is a level of self-awareness that you probably only get when you've been on the grid as long as Lewis has.
Right.
But it's probably also a little bit of like maybe he realizes he is taking way too long to acclimate to a new car. I mean, he was in the Mercedes for 8 years.
Yeah. No, no,
How
no.
long was he in
Longer
the
than
no.
that. He was there for like 10 or something, wasn't it?
Okay, so think about that. Just like you're speaking you're speaking French or
Yeah.
English or whatever
Right.
for a decade,
German.
and
I think he's German.
suddenly you're speaking. I mean, we're
Italian.
talking. You're talking in numbers now. It's not just two different languages. Like these are two different everything. Like
Right.
the approach to design, especially like if he had gone from one British team to another British team. Okay, different car, different whatever. Like Mercedes to McLaren, Mercedes to even Red Bull. I think, but
You
he's
don't
won
think it would
Mercedes
have been
to
as hard as going to Ferrari?
no,
Okay.
no, I don't. I mean, he's
Huh.
he's like Ferrari to me stands out as so different because of that. Just the approach,
Yeah.
the the what's the theory? Not the theory. The I don't know what the word is here, but just like everything, the way they do it is different.
Mm.
They're also the oldest F1 team, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I just you still think that would be maybe you can only be a seven-time world champion. You can only say that kind of thing if you're a seven-time world champion and you can make a joke that they should replace the driver knowing full well
Sure.
there's no chance they're going to replace the driver. I just thought, man, that is brutal. He wasn't much happier after the race. Was just had no tips or recommendations on what they should do to change it. Um, it's hard to see. I mean, we had a
It
joke
also
about
might be in
sad.
his nature to internalize things. It might be in his nature to self-reflect more than the average person. I mean, of all the drivers, he's probably like throughout his career, he's probably been the most focused. I mean, every other driver's got a partner. Max just had a child. I mean, there's all these other things that people are doing and living their life. Lewis has just been a Formula One driver. I mean, yes, he's had partners throughout the years, but I
He's
think he's been
pretty
the most
single-minded. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's a perfect word. The most single-minded about it the whole time. So he gets into this position with a really high performing team, and he can't squeeze out the performance. He can't even get close to what his teammate
Mm.
is. Which I mean, Leclerc has a crazy advantage here just with time in the car. I have a feeling that that's just the self-awareness to your
That's just
point
eating
that
him
you can
alive.
have if you've already won 7 championships. But
Yeah.
also when you're that mature in your career and you probably expect more out of yourself
You just feel it.
and you just
Hmm.
feel like, hey, it's got to be me because I've maybe he's even gone through the exercise of like I've asked for all these things to be changed or adapted to me, and they've like maybe the Ferrari's done it. Maybe Ferrari's just said, okay, sure, like you can, you're braking later into the turns. Let's set the car up for that, right?
Yeah.
whatever it might be. And even then, it's not really going his way. It's not fixing it. It's not, he's putting his DNA into it and he's getting negative returns instead of improvement.
And I guess comments like that even kind of indicate his investment emotionally in the
Yeah.
team, in the car,
Yeah.
and what he wants his spot to be at Ferrari. I want to be a great driver at Ferrari, one of the greatest drivers of all time, and now great at Ferrari. I will say, we joked a little bit about baseball a while back. There's that mentality with baseball pitchers. Don't talk to them, right? If they're pitching and they're having a bad game, don't talk to them. They're not in a good mood. They're not. It's not going to go well. If they're having a good game, don't talk to them. Like, they want to go back to the dugout, sit very quietly until it's their turn to
Yeah.
go back out again and do what they do well, and then go back to the dugout, right? Lewis has that don't talk to me mentality. If I'm not doing well, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm
Mm-hmm.
inconsolable. If I'm doing really well, also don't talk to me. I'm very focused. I'm not really here to like coach people on how to do it. I'm like a mystery man. That's my he's the exact opposite of Daniel Ricciardo. Which I think is why Daniel Ricciardo is such a likable person and
Well,
Lewis
and I
is
think
such
Daniel
a
Ricciardo could
polarizing.
also be like, "Oh no, it's me. I'm the one. Just I'm doing terrible." But he's
That's
doing
true.
it in a much more
Like a
positive.
self-deprecating kind of like
Yeah,
cheerful, ha ha,
yeah.
how we are. Isn't this funny? That's true. Maybe not the exact opposite. Maybe just a exact opposite from a performance standpoint, and then you see how that personality comes through. Well, it was an interesting race. I had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy watching. If for those of you out there who got a chance to watch it, if you didn't, go watch it. It's hard to find a lap in this race where something wasn't interesting. There wasn't some fun activity on track. Just kind of an odd mix up in the top 10. Interesting to see that play out. I don't know, the first like 10 laps, I was just watching Bortoleto hold off Max Verstappen, and that was just like an odd moment to see that. Really exciting to see for a rookie driver getting some good outcomes there. Daniel, quick reactions. You got any for me?
Did you see the trophy? Do
The
you know the
ones that
story behind
Lando
the
moved
trophy?
out of the way so they didn't get sprayed with anything or touched or bumped or anything like that?
Lando has got to be the most like trophy conscious driver now.
Yeah, yeah,
Because he's making sure that because he after you break one, I mean, you're just the guy that breaks trophies, right? And
right.
we saw him sort of break the Lego trophy, but
Uh-huh.
the trophies this weekend are made by none other than Hair in China, and Hair in China is like world famous. I don't know if are you familiar with Hair in China?
Of course I am. Of course I am. My
Every
house is filled
grandmother,
with fine things. Yes.
of course,
Yeah.
yes, as is mine.
I'm trying to figure out how I can Google this quickly.
I've got Hair in China in my studio here.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
but the little animal figurines painted with like the little reflective triangles and the color on the borders, like every grandmother has them in their
Okay.
house, no
Yes, yes,
matter
yes.
what. Like some,
Yes.
it may be a salt shaker, it may just be something up on the shelf. But
Right.
anyway, Hair in China is from Hungary, and so they have this. It's a really
And
cool
they made
thing.
those trophies.
They made these trophies.
Okay. So not as good as a Lego trophy, but like they're trying.
No,
Okay.
no, but it's literal porcelain up there, so you could see
Sure.
Lando was like, "Okay, guys."
Right. Because he broke the first one. Wasn't it 2 years
Yeah,
ago?
yeah,
He did that power slam on the
yeah.
champagne bottle and broke his trophy.
Right.
To
So
the horror of every Reddit
grandmother.
Karen and grandmother who's immediately angry on behalf of all of Hungary, and meanwhile Hungary was like, "It's okay, we'll get you another one."
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him. He When they finished and they were getting ready to do the champagne, they grabbed their champagne and started spraying. He grabbed his trophy and carried it over and set it aside, and then grabbed, I think it was Oscar's, and moved it over the side too. And then he got his champagne and like shook it up. It's fantastic. I did see that. I did not know they were called heron. In fact, when I searched for it, I spelled it like the bird, and it's not spelled like the bird. So that tells you my experience with that. I did see. Okay, did you see that some person was still taking tires off of cars during the podium anthem? Okay, I gotta show you this. All right, listen to this. This is they start "God Save the Queen," or as we like to call
So,
it.
so we didn't see the tire coming off, and I haven't seen the video yet, but we didn't see that we heard the guns is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is like, here we go. "God Save the Queen." This is the national anthem of Britain, and
Uh-huh.
Just moment of silence, please. It happened like 7 times. They just kept doing it. And I couldn't tell if they could hear it. Like the first time, because he smiles after the first one, and I can't tell if he's looking at somebody. Wait for it. And then he just leaves back. I don't know if he is this in the moment. Can he hear that? Is that just the camera that's picking that up? It has.
I mean, is George Russell directing these sounds? I mean, is George Russell over there like, yep, one more, give it one more? And
it'd be Verstappen. Verstappen would be down there like, ready now, go. It reminds me of those videos where somebody will take like a video from a movie or something, and then they'll just superimpose over it like flatulence, and it just out of nowhere, and it just fits that clip. Yeah, that one got me. That one got me this time. Okay, quick reaction for you. This is a weird one, but I'm just gonna chuck it up there. This is something I was thinking about this week. You know, you ever have those thoughts? You're watching an F1 race and you just have a thought hit you.
Yeah.
Is racing bulls bad for F1?
Racing bulls bad for the Formula Ones.
Let me put it this way: when Cadillac joins next year, and there are 11 teams, no longer a nice even 10.
Yeah.
Is Racing Bulls bad for F1? Time to let go of Racing Bulls team. It's okay if your answer is no.
I have had thoughts about Racing Bulls before. I mean, why? I'm backing up a little bit here.
You're about to ask all the questions that I'm asking. Go ahead. Yeah.
In the spirit of competitiveness, shouldn't we assume that every team should have an equal shot at doing really well?
Yeah.
Well enough to win something, everything, whatever.
Keep the dreams alive.
Yeah. But you're right. We sort of have this like throwaway team on the grid that's just like Red Bull flexing, like, look how much money we have. Yeah. Look at what the margins and energy drinks are, to the point that we can have not one Formula One team, but two on the grid at the top. Not Formula 2, not Formula 3, which Red Bull does have all the development stuff, right? It's a little gratuitous on Red Bull's part. And then I think the difference here, like the difference between like Toro Rosso and that being like a thing, and like Red Bull sort of rescuing a team that may have just gone by the wayside.
Sure.
Making it their development team, or making it their junior varsity, whatever you want to call it. I think that was in a time when there wasn't a lot of money to go around. So sponsorship wasn't just, you could swing a stick and hit a sponsor.
Right.
Today, what Liberty Media has done for Formula One, what they've done with all of the profile elevation, bringing Formula One to a huge market like the US, I think that maybe we're getting into the territory where Racing Bulls could stand alone as their own team again, because there's probably enough money for it. Sure. And if you think about the performance that they've had, if you think about the performance that they've had this year specifically, with two rookie drivers, or the rookie and a half, let's just say that.
Sure. Yep. Sorry, Liam. It's not your fault, man. We just kind of
it almost makes sense to say like they could probably stand alone, and they could, if they didn't have to sort of defer to Red Bull.
Yep.
Maybe they would have a chance at being in the top 5 instead of whatever they are now, 7th, 8th.
I think what I just heard you say was you didn't answer my question, but that's okay. I'm in the same boat as you. So to be fair, I don't have a yes or no to that either.
I don't think it's bad. But I do think that it doesn't make sense anymore. So anyway, that's my quick answer. That's my quick reaction.
That's okay.
But
those are the
back
thoughts
to your point.
running.
I didn't mean to apologize.
Those were the thoughts that were going through my head. It was this week, something happened, and they said something along the lines of maybe they'll hold Verstappen up or something. Oh no, they jumped out of the way, running a different. And they had one of those pass off, they just sort of like throw away comments about like, oh, different race or different strategy or something. They just jumped out of the way for Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of watching Racing Bulls jump out of the way of a Red Bull car, and there being some throwaway comment, and sometimes they're on a different strategy and sometimes they're just not. But we all kind of know Hadjar is just not going to race Verstappen, because if he gets elbows out and knocks Verstappen off the track, that's not a good look, and you're never going to get to move up to that senior team. And I hate that. It just seems like an incredibly bad thing for the sport to be watching a race and realize that 1/10 of the cars out there are always going to sort of defer or be more cautious around another team. now I love the drivers. I think they're doing great. I think it's a good team. I think it's performing well. It just annoys me that dynamic is at play where it would ever be normal to say, well, when Verstappen comes around the corner, you're never really going to fight with that big, the senior teams. What are we talking about? Either go to Formula 2 or get a new leadership team so that we actually have a competitive team. Because you could ask it
So
another
for
way.
everyone in the audience, if you're wondering why we're talking about this, we are now officially announcing our launch of the Kickstarter fundraising campaign to make a bid
Yes.
for Racing Bulls
Yes.
to take them out of the grasp of Red Bulls, to make the grid more competitive,
Yes.
and to rename this team Critical F1.
That's right. That's right. It's going to be the team bandwagons brought to you by Bit of Honey.
Yeah, Bit of Honey. Where it's going to be title sponsor Bit of Honey.
The Bit of Honey.
We're bringing
team.
all our favorite drivers back.
Yeah.
This is it.
Listen. Listen. I know. I'm just going to throw it out there and just say you could ask it another way. Does anybody ever think that in any way Red Bull will let Racing Bulls win a championship of either kind before the Red Bull team?
No
chance.
No.
So then why are they there? Just get out of the way. Stop
the
making people
the
wonder.
minute a driver from Racing Bulls wins a GP, they're in the car that Yuki Tsunoda's in right now.
That's right.
I mean, straight away, right away, Red Bull, straight to
right away,
straight to Red Bull.
Right. Yeah,
right to jail, right away.
Right away.
Sorry. No, it's not jail. It's a Red Bull. It's a great car. All right. I've got, I think that's just about it. Quote of the week: unleash the pace of the McLaren. That's a throwaway one for you. That's one that you should be keeping track of. Also, hey, Daniel, do drivers and their engineers have couples counseling after like meetings, like just to keep in good, healthy relationships?
Yes, 100%. There is there is at least one performance coach at every Formula One team. I don't know this for a fact. I'm assuming that has to be true just because it has to be true in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least one full-blown MD psychiatrist on every team that is mediating all the different things. I mean, just like any other major professional team has these performance coaches and these people that are extremely well trained and well versed in these types of things.
Right.
Not only getting the most performance out of somebody, but building that team and making sure it works together. So absolutely. And I love that you called it couples counseling because that's probably what it feels like more than anything.
I think there's a lot of and how did that make you feel? Like, not
and
good.
How did that make you feel?
I was trying to be great. It was specifically George Russell's engineer saying, George, these lap times are great. Just keep chucking these in. These are fantastic. And he's like, just let me drive. Like, geez, dude. Well, if you don't want to hear that from your engineer, all right, then you drive. I would have gone quiet for 10 laps after that. He would have had to come on the radio and be like, hello. Like, oh, sorry. Do you want to hear how you're doing? You're in third place. Back in that cooldown room. All right. Well, that's probably it. Any other quick reactions for me, or is it time to wrap?
Let's wrap it. Let's lean into the break. Let's take a break.
That's right. Get your sunscreen on, and
thanks everybody for joining us, rejoining us.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, please. Let us know what you think. Give us those comments.
Should Racing Bulls be the Bit of Honey?
Should we launch the Kickstarter that I just announced for the first time that Ruben's literally never heard me say anything about?
I'm all for it. We are going into a 3-week break, or so I guess 3 weeks with no racing. We will be back in I think it's 26 days until drivers are on track. Actually, I guess it depends on when you're listening to this. We will be back on August 29th with the Nederlanden Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix. And until that time, you'll probably hear from us again at some point. We're going to go through some details, a little bit of silly season content coming up, and checking in on the grid, what people are up to on their breaks, maybe photos of them on the beach, whatever it is they're up to. I don't know. And in that note, thanks for joining us. Thanks as always to the legendary pit wall producer Chris P. Yeah. And thanks to all the listeners out there. Keep listening and share with your friends. We'll catch you next time on the Critical Lab.
Thanks. Later.